The one and done era in the NBA could be all but done. What does this mean for LeBron James and his hopes with playing with his son? Let's discuss. What up, ballers? Welcome back to Basketball at the Bar, where the takes are hot and the drinks are cold. If you're a basketball fan, hit that like button down below. And if you enjoy awesome NBA content almost daily, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We post fresh videos multiple times a week, and we are live every single Wednesday night. My name is Barry. I will be your host today, and let's go ahead here and jump into today's video. So I want to talk about a little article here that was posted by Bleacher Report a little bit earlier today. This dives into the pros and the cons of the one and done rule potentially ending as soon as the 2024 NBA draft. This basically goes and talks about what Sham says and what Woj says, but the bottom line is in 2005, the NBA started this rule where players cannot come directly from high school to the NBA. They either had to spend a year overseas, a year in college, or now a year in the G League. This rule could potentially be coming to an end, like I said, as soon as the 2024 NBA draft. The NBA is entering into a collective bargaining agreement renewal with the NBA in the NBAPA. They will be negotiating over the next year and a half, and many different rules could be changing very soon. This is just one of them. Before we dive in here, I just want to remind you all that many of your favorite NBA players were not affected by this rule. They were drafted prior to 2005, and they were allowed to go directly from high school to the NBA. This includes the likes of LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Tracy McGrady, Dwight Howard, Amari Stoudemire, Lou Williams, Monte Ellis, Rashard Lewis, and Josh Smith. These are just the top 10 players that made it from high school to the NBA. However, there are many, many others that I did not mention here that had successful and productive NBA careers. Looking at this list, there's only one guy that is currently still in the NBA, and that is LeBron James. Dwight Howard, you can make the argument that he is still in the NBA. He's just not been signed by a team, and I would agree with you. I expect him to be signed by the Lakers here in the next couple weeks. But this rule has been into effect for 17 seasons. So yeah, we're not going to see a lot of guys in the NBA that went directly from high school to the NBA currently. But anyways, back to the article here. It breaks down the pluses and the minuses and what this could mean for the NBA. Obviously, you know, for me, one of the biggest losers is going to be college basketball. If you're a team like Kentucky that constantly recruits the top NBA players every single year, or prospects, they spend 1 year with your team and then they move on to the NBA, and they're usually really, really high draft picks. What does this mean for Kentucky? Do they have to change their entire model and maybe go after guys that aren't projected to be first round picks, but maybe late second rounds, or people that want to help improve their draft stock by spending a year in college with a good program? And there are many other schools like this as well, not just Kentucky. It is just the poster child right now in my mind. What does this mean for the NBA G League, who has been progressing very steadily over the past couple seasons? Popularity is becoming much, much more prevalent. And we've seen just in this past season a guy like Shaedon Sharpe who went to the G League instead of going to play college ball. So what does that mean for them? Do they have less talent? I'm not really quite sure. This is a very interesting debate that we're going to be having over the next couple seasons. And I'm excited to see where this ends up. Now, what does this mean for Bronny James? I feel like that's what most people are asking themselves. What does this mean for Bronny James? Well, Bronny James is currently a senior. He's slated to start his senior year in high school this season, which without the one and done rule would make him eligible for next year's NBA draft, which is the 2023 NBA draft. However, if this rule change does come into effect, it wouldn't be until 2024. So Bronny would technically already have spent a year overseas, a year at Ohio State, or a year in the G League, and he would be eligible for the NBA draft. So this rule has no bearing on what happens to Bronny James. However, let's talk about LeBron's younger son, Bryce Maximus James. The dude has had a huge growth spurt over the last summer, and he's playing exceptionally well, actually playing on the same team as Bronny James for some of the summer, and he's played exceptionally well. Now, Bronny is a few years younger. This rule could impact him. And if LeBron James is able to remain in the NBA for the next 2-3 years, we could see LeBron playing with Bronny and Bryce both in the NBA. Wouldn't that be incredible? I mean, much less having a guy and his son play, but a guy and both of his sons. Wow, that is truly incredible. And I guess that is something that LeBron would have on Jordan, right? Because the skies were really high for Jordan, and everyone wanted his sons to be the next him, but they just simply weren't. Neither of them made it to the NBA. So this would definitely be a huge thing. We saw Gary Payton's son last year won a title with the Golden State Warriors, has played exceptionally well, but he's not got to play with his father. His father's career did not last that long, which is even more incredible about LeBron James. Ultimately, I think this would be a good move for the NBA to get rid of this rule. I feel like it brings more excitement. You've seen many guys that have been touted as former number one, or they should have been number one overall picks, only to destroy themselves or their reputation or what their draft stock would look like in 1 year in college ball. Also guys like Kyrie Irving, who obviously his draft stock was not affected. He went number one overall, but he was not available to play many games with Duke due to injuries. So there's going to be some unseen effects here that will happen. I think this does add a little bit more risk for NBA teams. If you are a general manager and you're drafting a guy in the first round, you are looking for a guy with high upside. Potential is what you draft on, right? Not based on what they currently have. So when you're seeing guys that are younger, that have just finished high school, maybe you'll see the potential, but it's going to take them a lot longer to get there. So I think this is great for the fans. This is exciting. However, this does introduce a little bit more of a risk for NBA GMs when drafting players. I want to hear from you guys down below in the comments. What do you think about this rule? Should the one and done rule have never been in effect in the first place? Is it a good rule, or should they just scrap it now and go ahead and let players go from high school to NBA right away? Please let me know down below in the comments. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to smash up that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you all in the next video.